I shall see my Savior one glorious morning by and by. Amen. Let us sit down. I pray that the Spirit of the Lord may inspire each one of us to be able to grasp His message, and let the message bring through transformation in our lives through Christ our Lord. Today, being the third Sunday, the 3-3, the Sunday before the very last one, and we enter New Year in the liturgical season. Every reading or the readings we have listened to put this concept, the idea, in case we have forgotten that idea, that once there is a beginning, there must be an end. And that must be a determining factor in our lives. And we must not forget it. That once, since we did not know when we started our lives, we wouldn't know when we're going to end it. But what we know is there must be an end. When we hear about the end, sometimes it brings mixed feelings. Because it can be sweet word. It can be also a word that brings a kind of disturbance. But then it becomes sweet and very beautiful for those who are conscious of now. Those who are conscious of now, today. The end of today does not give any trouble to them, because they know that tomorrow is the product of today. And the moment we become conscious of it, it helps to shape our lives now. If you are doing an exam, or you are in exams, and you hear you are doing these exams, it's a month exams, and you know that this month is coming to an end tomorrow. There's a kind of inner joy that comes to you because the end is about to come. And when eventually you know you are in the hall and you're writing the final exams, and once you have finished that exams, you know the end has finally come. There's a kind of joy that comes to us when we experience this kind of the end. If you are in any kind of sickness and the doctor says that sickness now we're almost getting it eradicated, removed from you. It remains small thing, the last injection, everything will be okay. There's a kind of joy that is not, because that end is good. And what gives us joy is not because of the end itself, but the product of the end gives us joy. The outcome of the end. I have finished exams, there'll be graduation, there'll be work, I can find good job, because this end brings about good thing. Anytime I remember about the end, and I feel uncomfortable, it means the end, after the end, something is wrong. And if I am so disturbed about what comes after the end, let I be more disturbed about what happens now. Because the end, what happens after the end, is not within our control. But we have some participation in it if we do something about now. Then after the end, what comes after it is even much better than what we're going through now. If you and I want to live well in this life, be very aware that tomorrow or the end is real, is true. Everywhere, wherever you find yourself, you are leading a particular group, there is always an end. That's why if you are electing a president or anybody in any authority, no matter how the tenure can be maybe elongated, there must be an end. And some people do not know that, they don't become conscious of that if I want to feel at peace, feel joyful after the end, I must lay down a peaceful. Whatever I want to enjoy after the end, I must prepare it now. I must be the best of the leadership. I must be the best of everything, because once the end comes, I step out of the new one. The products of what has happened before will follow me. A father and mother who are giving good training to their children, at the end, they become the best of the children, good people, and they get information from them how they are doing well. They get good jobs, and they will come back to you to tell you, Dad and Mom, we cannot forget what you have done. Now, you are no more doing now. We do things. The end has come of you are doing, we now be doing. Because before the end, you were doing something. But now it is for us. And if we keep doing, sometime my end will come, and another group will continue going on. If there's a break in the chain of good things, the end can come and come. What comes after it will be so terrible. In the first reading of today, the last book in the book of the Old Testament, Malachi. Malachi means my messenger. My messenger. This prophet, we don't know exactly who was the one, even though the name was given to him as Malachi. When the people of Israel were in exile in Babylon, they left their home and went to exile around 587 AD, around 500 years before Jesus even was born. They have suffered for 70 years in Babylon. They thought the end would never come. They thought their life in Babylon is a life of despair to the end. But when the time came, God liberated them, and they went back. Before they have left Babylon, or before they went to Babylon, they had a very beautiful temple, the Temple of Jerusalem. And that temple, every good Jew says to anyone, if your eyes have not set on Jerusalem temple, you have not seen the most or the wonderful things, the best thing on earth. You've never seen it. The Temple of Jerusalem is a replica of everything that is good. The best. But in 587, Babylonians destroyed it. So the end came. They went to Babylon. They spent 870 years in Babylon, thinking it would not end. The end came. Now they went back to Jerusalem, to Palestine, their home. There, before they were going, they were told that, yeah, go back home. The home is now good. The home is wonderful. And when they got home, it was relatively wonderful, but not exactly the way they thought. They rebuilt their temple in the year 515 BC. When they returned, they built back the temple. It was this time when the temple was built, people thought, now God has come to dwell in our temple. We can enjoy ourselves as much as we can. They forgot what led them to exile before. they forgot that something made them to go to exile. Something brought about the destruction of this beautiful temple. The end of it, something, they continue doing the same thing again. Not caring to one another. Those who are wealthy were becoming more wealthy. Those who are poor becoming poor. The priests in the temple were on their own. Everybody for himself. Thinking that as long as we have the temple, God is inside. No matter what we do, we are still people of God. Nothing will happen. That's today, what we read today. Malachi said to them, at a point in time, the poor people were saying to themselves, if we are worshiping God, but nothing happens, God doesn't bless us. Rather, those who are blessed before, they are more blessed, and we are suffering no need of worshiping God. I know sometimes we have this kind of sentiment. At a time in your lives, you are asking things from God. It seems He's not answering your question. He's giving you answers. And you look around, people you think you are better off in terms of spiritual life. You are coming to Mass every time, but those who are not so much committed, things seem to be going well with them. And be wondering, God, what is this? Malachi told them, look, you see, those who are wealthy, what they forgot is this. All that they had supposed to be given and shared with the poor. With this, they all move together. But in case they have forgotten, the wealth will leave them one day, or they leave the wealth. What they have, they hold with their two hands instead of giving it out. One day, those things will leave them, which means at the end, or they themselves will leave that. It's very important for us to know that everything about us has end. But the most important thing is, before the end of things I have, before the end of particular behavior in me, before there's something evil around me, before I allow it to end me, let me end it before the end. Everything about me, there's particular behavior in me, I am full of hatred. I can't forgive it easily. It is necessary that we end it before the end comes. If we don't end it, it will end us. If I have particular behavior, immoral life that I'm living, I don't know what to do about it. This is a moment of asking God to help me to end it so that it doesn't end me. Because if it ends me before the real end, then after, there will be no sweet moments. It's very important for us to be aware of this. If you look around, even those who are in politics, those in different areas of life, sometimes they live as if they forgot that there's an end. And that's why you see the rising of empire and the falling of empire. The Roman Empire was so great at a point in time, at the beginning of the centuries. But when the time came, it went down and disappeared. Because there is always rising and falling. There's always beginning and end. When you are in your state of reigning, prepare for the end. Anytime you are beginning to do anything in your life, as the day you are beginning that, begin to prepare for the east end. Because it will surely come. If the end is not in front of us, we are about to be idle and living our lives meaninglessly. But when I know the end is about to come and I want to leave a legacy, I will put in my best to make sure that I am the best of it. Nobody remains in any situation or in any position or anything in life forever. No. That's why no one is indispensable No one is inevitable. Because no matter how precious somebody is, the person will one day disappear. Even when the person disappears, we feel, this person is the best. But life will continue. Because no one is indispensable. We have ending. It's a part of us. So we must make use of what we have now. That's why when I see people in the politics or people who have different kind of position, I say, God, help them to remember the shortness of our life so they can gain the wisdom of mind and heart. Because the moment if you want to be the best of whatever you are, keep the end in front of you. If you're a good father, be the best you can possibly be. Don't be the one who is always out, spending your money out, sharing your love out, and come back with something else. No, that one will not last too long. If you're a mother, the same. Don't spend your time out. Because that will not, when the end comes, you will remember it for nothing. Anything you are, remember. And this is what a reminder to people of Israel. During the time of Jesus, remember, the temple had been destroyed first time. In 587 AD, BC, was destroyed. In 515 BC, rebuilt. And now the time of Jesus, as Luke was telling us today, around 70 AD. Look what Luke was writing today, or what we are reading, was his experience. It's not that he was writing what will happen. He saw it happened. Because Jesus made this kind of expression around 30 AD, few months before his death. And he went to a temple to preach to them, and he looked around how glamorous, how beautiful the temple was. And the temple and the life of people is purely different. People forgot that they are the real temple of God. They were hurting one another, discrimination, hatred, immorality. But then they were doing it like we have now here. We have a lot of flowers, beautiful, so beautiful. But the most important thing is to put flower in our lives. The most important is the flower. We can put all the gold and silver flower here. It doesn't add anything to us. Unless you and I put flower around us in good behavior, good life, holiness of life. Otherwise, this one will be nonsense, useless. It's just sense of beauty. I will be here. You take me a picture. A nice picture I put in my house. But doesn't add any value to my spiritual life. So the temple of Jerusalem was the same. They were putting a nice flowers, everything so beautiful. But Jesus could see in their hearts hatred, discrimination, immorality, backbiting, gossip, a lot of things that are so bad inside of them. And Jesus says to them, you see this temple? This temple will be destroyed. And not just destroyed, there will be no stone left on top of, which means total destruction. The temple was their pride. What they had thought, that since the first one was destroyed, this one will never be destroyed because God lives inside Jerusalem, inside the temple. God doesn't live anywhere. He's inside the temple. And just say it will be destroyed. And they were surprised. What? This will destroy. This one? Again? Tell us, give us a sign. Tell us so that if you give us a sign, we can begin to prepare for the warriors. Soldiers who will be there to make sure it doesn't happen. Give us signs. I know that each one of us here now, if God comes to us now and says, look, you will die tomorrow. I prepare tomorrow. And this one, next month. The other one, next year. Your own is January 1st, 2023. Your own will be maybe just April 2nd. The other one, your own is December 1st. If this happens, anxiety will set in here. Somebody will do something that he will. What do I do now? What do I do? He will run to the person who actually offended you. Say, forgive me because I can't. I'm sorry. Before I can't come to you, but now forgive me. You wrong me, but to forgive me. I don't mind. You wrong me, but forgive me. We do extraordinary things. Only few saints God gave the time of their death, like Saint Faustina. God revealed to her the day and the month and the time she will die. And she happily, joyfully prepared because she knows that after this end, the other one has no end. But why do I afraid? Why are you afraid if you know the time you will die? Because now you are not. What is happening now in your life? You and I, we are conscious that these things we are doing now, they are not correct. But God understands now. God, you understand. I know I'm a human being. Huh? I'm a human being, so you understand. So we console ourselves, especially by looking around and see, after all, that person there is doing the same. That one doing the same. Now, in fact, the bishop does the same, Pope does the same. So am I the only one? Everything's about each one of us. That's why God will not do that. Because if we make that happen, to tell us when there'll be anxiety. But God, Jesus says, prepare. Do not look for the end. They were asking, what is the sign? Tell us. Forget about the sign. In fact, if anybody comes to you and tells you, it will happen that day, do not listen. There will be persecution. There will be something that extraordinary happening. Do not worry. Most important thing is remain faithful to me. They will harm you. They will disturb you. They will humiliate you. They will do any kind of harm on you. Do not worry. I will give you what you need to defend yourself. What's very important thing is be on my side. Be on my side. Be on my side. Don't worry about the end. The end is sure. But what happens after the end? I am aware of that. Be with me. I will take you that time. Don't worry. You see, many prophets have done a lot of things. There was one woman, I remember most of you should be aware. By 1999, year 2000, 1999, when we were about to enter 2000, there was a lot of people who said that the world will end. Many people were preparing. My parish then, even 1990 something, everybody, our parish priest was preaching something strange at that time. So everybody was preparing for the end. And some people were even selling some things, behaving somehow. So when you are passing on the road, you say, are you preparing for rapture? If you're not preparing, I'm flying, you know. That concerns you because we are rapture. Rapture was the music of the day. Rapture. And the year 1999, I was in theology then. There was a woman called Ikeja Deanery. Ikeja Deanery was from Uganda. All of a sudden, she said she had a vision of Our Lady. And Our Lady told her about the end of the world. And, you know, fear. We don't go to heaven through fear, by the way. If you are afraid of hell, that's why I come to Mass, better go home. If you are afraid of going to hell, that's why I come for Mass. It's better go home because you will still go to hell. If you are here to encounter Jesus, to love him more and more, to give you energy to love more and more, then you are supposed to be here. Fear has nothing to do with God. So Ikeja Deanery was preaching that the two priests or three were join her. Every now and then, Our Lady says this, and she built a kind of ministry, like people do now, some ministry. Bishop won some priests, they disobey. Like sometimes when the people start ministry, when they hear that a priest is also going there, they say it's correct one. There are disobedient priests, there are priests who are disobedient also. There are priests who are disobedient. They don't listen to bishops. So Bishop told some priests stop. One stopped, another one stopped, one continued with her. They didn't know this woman was sent by the devil. She had a nice big hall. And she had a kind of borrow pit here and there. He had able men in her church. You don't make a noise, huh? If she's saying something, if you cough, the beating you will receive. It means they believe that the devil is causing that. They will beat you in a serious way. No one makes noise at all. And the whole December, people were selling their things. Selling their things. And those who are not selling, those who are selling, we tell them, I'm sorry, I'll miss you. I'll miss you. Because on 31st night, December 31st, 1999, we are flying. So we are missing you. I'm missing you. I'm sorry to say, but I'm sorry for you. When I go there, I will help you. I can pray for you. I can pray for you. But in any case, they were doing this. But then this woman was, when she gathered some men or some people who come from prayer, they are taken to where's a prayer site. They didn't know that there was a big pit, very deep. Put nice white clothes on it. Put cross at the other side. Put candles. So when they are bringing people one by one, as you stand there, when you want to stand, and hundreds of people, you pour acid on them. She had this kind of thing in different positions. Nobody knew. Nobody was asking, those who have gone, have they come back? Everybody was eager to fly. Fear. On the 31st night was the worst. That first night will be the last day. All will fly. And what she did was, all the doors in that place, they put 9 inches, nail it strongly, and keep only one door for entrance. And that night, everybody's going flying, huh? The whole church was filled to the brim. To this night, aeroplane. I think the whole church will move up, all. Fear. They begin to sing a song of praise. As they were singing, already they have poured fuel in all the doors. And the roof, they sink fuel all over, waiting for just a small light. When it is 11:30, Ikeja Deanery and that priest and some of her people, they step out from the back. Tell people, close your eyes, it's time to go. They were singing, the fire. People were singing, strong heat was everywhere. Heat. What's going on? They saw fire all over. He wanted to run to the door locked. The windows locked. All perished. Almost 1,000 plus. 1999, that first in Uganda. Fear. Heaven has something to do with fear. That was Jesus was warning them. Even if everything is happening, the Nigeria is turning around, the Boko Haram is everywhere, it will come. But the end that will come will be the end of evil. The end of evil in our lives. Jesus has already introduced the new world through his death and resurrection. But it's left for you and I to step in. My dear brothers and sisters, we must understand this very clearly. Do not allow whatever that you think you're enjoying to take you away from the end. Whatever situation or stage you find, any opportunity you find in your life, use it to prepare for the end, because the end will come. When will it come? It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but it must surely come. And you know what? Whenever we stand up and we are walking this way, we are walking towards the end. Anytime. Even if you are eating towards the end. You are drinking towards the end. Everything we do is to the end. Only God knows when the end will be the end. But it surely must come. We must not live our lives as if there is no end. There is. That's why St. Paul warned those in Thessalonians. Be careful. Don't live life of idleness. Because when Paul preached to them in the first letter he wrote to them, told them about Jesus is coming. They thought he's coming tomorrow and next tomorrow. They stopped working. Most of them stopped working, interfering with those who work, being idle, spending their time in different moments, talking about when they will fly, when will not fly. And St. Paul said, look, if you look at me, I'm a model to you. Even though I believe Jesus will come, I don't know how he will come, but I'm doing something. So, which means, why waiting? Do something. Why waiting for Jesus to come? Do what? Do something. But not just something, something good. May the Lord bless each one of us today as we journey in life towards the end through Christ our Lord.